Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the PENcast. My name is Edith Caislin Fojo, and today we will be talking about making mathematics hands on in Africa. I have here with me Dr. Heather Beem, who is an engineering lecturer at Ashesi University and the founder of Practical Education Network. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you, Edith.
Let's get right into it. So, I want to know how your relationship with mathematics was in your early childhood.
I was fortunate in that my mom was a math teacher. So, my siblings and I, after school, my mom would take us through additional math exercises to make sure we really understood whatever we were learning in school and even beyond. At the time, it was a bit annoying because it was like extra work when my friends were out playing. But looking back, I'm really grateful for that because I had more exposure to math. It made me more comfortable with numbers, maybe more confident manipulating numbers and solving problems. And eventually, I even got to enjoy or feel a sense of satisfaction from doing math.
Well, it was great you had that kind of exposure very early and the after school support. Would you say, with your experience, that the education in mathematics is different from that in Ghana compared to the US?
Well, in Ghana, I hear a lot of people talk about how there's a sense of fear when it comes to learning math. From a young age, a lot of people tell me that they kind of close their minds to pursuing math because they've just feel this intense sense of fear for the subject. And so I think that really poses a challenge for getting more students interested in math and STEM. And that's not just a challenge in Ghana, it's really a challenge globally, in the US as well to an extent. But I think here there's a tendency to kind of make students feel like they can't do it from a young age and then therefore they shouldn't try pursuing it further. So I think the challenge I see for teachers globally is to find ways of making math something that students can connect with, that they start to feel comfortable with numbers and not this sense of fear that tends to happen even from a young age.
Yeah, I was one of those who was very scared. I dreaded mathematics lessons, so I stayed very clear from it. But would you say that the kind or the quality of mathematics education affects development?
Yes, it does. There are a number of studies that link math, or let's say STEM more broadly, to countries' development in terms of their GDP. So you can see this high correlation between countries that invest more in STEM in terms of research or having more courses available for students to choose. Those countries that have more going on in STEM are the countries that have higher GDP. So it suggests that if a country like Ghana puts more energy into STEM, we would see that benefit in terms of the country's development.
Okay. So you teach engineering at Ashesi. Can you tell us how important mathematics is in a student's success in the field?
It's very important. Our students need to have a strong math background and a strong physics background. Those two are pretty much non-negotiable. Other STEM subjects come in to an extent as well, but definitely you need to be strong in math and physics in order to do well in any engineering program out there.
You founded Practical Education Network. Can you tell us about what you do, what your vision is?
Practical Education Network, or PEN, is an NGO that started about 7 years ago, operating here in Ghana. And our mission is to enable every African child to learn by doing. We want to see students doing activities, doing experiments in their science and math classrooms. That should be the normal thing that's happening across the board in Ghana and broadly in Africa.
Right. So, in your bid to make hands-on science more normal or hands-on mathematics, I know you've developed a resource manual. Tell us a bit more about your teacher resource manuals and what went into developing it.
Yeah, one of the key products we've developed over the years is this hands-on teacher resource manual. And we developed this first for science. And that's been in the system available for Ghanaian teachers for a few years now. And teachers actually really, really love this resource. We have one teacher who came through our program in the past, Madame Selassie. She told me, Heather, this is my second Bible.
Wow.
Because I use it so much. It's filled with activities using low cost, locally available materials. So she doesn't have to spend much money in getting activities made for her students, and it's still aligned to the national curriculum. So teachers have been telling us for some time, you have this amazing resource for science. When is the mathematics one coming? So we said, okay, we'll try our best. And now we have managed to do that. We've developed a hands-on mathematics teacher resource manual that is aligned to the Ghanaian national curriculum from grades 1 to 6. So for the whole elementary school curriculum, for every topic, there's an activity that teachers can use materials to teach that topic with instead of just relying on the blackboard.
That's really great. So can you talk to us about the steps that went into developing the manual?
Yes, so there's a team of people that have worked around the clock to put that resource together. We have a group of STEM students or alumni. We have some staff at Penn, and we also have past trainees that are classroom teachers in the field. So all those people come together, put their ideas down. Then we test some of the activities in the classroom to see really how teachers respond, how do the students respond before we put together the final set that goes into the document. And then we also get it approved by the Ministry of Education in Ghana before we disseminate it in the schools.
It sounds like a very thorough process. What are some of the challenges that you hope this manual can help us overcome?
Definitely the fear. I think, as I've said already, we've said fear is a real dynamic in the system. So I think by bringing in more activities, it offers an opportunity for math to feel more playful, more fun, and therefore that fear should go down. But additionally, I hope that it will help make the concepts easier to learn, because not every student responds naturally to seeing a bunch of numbers on the board. So we hope that by introducing bottle tops and toothpicks and straws and all these everyday materials it will offer more ways for students to enter into the subject and really understand how to do math, not just the few that grasp, the traditional approach immediately.
Okay. So if I picked up a mathematics manual from Penn, what are some of the hands-on pedagogies I would see in the book?
Yeah, so hands-on math is perhaps less developed out there than hands-on science. So we had to really put our creative hats on to think of interesting ways to bring every topic to life. So we've included a number of manipulatives, which are using things like bottle tops or other counters to represent numbers or digits. We've also developed a number of paper models, to demonstrate 3D geometries of different objects. And then the favorite one is probably what we've seen from teachers. Their favorite is what we call the movement-based approach, where we have students themselves move to model things like a graph. So instead of graphing something on paper, you actually have the students form a line graph, for example. Or we even have a clapping game where you have to go around a circle, and if you land on a prime factor, then you clap in a different pattern than others. And that one has also been really popular.
That's really great. So what are the plans for making sure every Ghanaian mathematics teacher has their hands on these manuals?
Yeah, that's the goal, is that every teacher has access to these kinds of ideas so that this can become the new normal. So we're building partnerships with individuals, with organizations, to be able to print and distribute these manuals out there. And we've already secured a number of these partnerships, and we're tackling it one district at a time. So we're printing enough that the whole set of teachers in one district can have access to one copy of this manual. So we'll keep on that track until we see this vision come to life, where hands-on science, hands-on math is the new normal. It's what's happening across the board in classrooms all over.
Thank you very much. Your team at Penn is doing a really good job at making hands-on mathematics and science more accessible to African learners, and we appreciate what you're doing. If you have any last words for anyone who is interested in embracing STEM.
I would encourage anyone listening to this to follow Penn on social media, sign up for our mailing list so that you can keep updated on all the things we're doing to make hands-on STEM the new normal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.